From 1968 to 1969, Northern California was gripped by terror. A mysterious figure emerged from the shadows, taunting the public with letters, ciphers, and threats. Known only as the Zodiac Killer, he claimed responsibility for at least 37 murders, though only 5 have been confirmed. His identity remains unknown, his ciphers unsolved, and his legacy a chilling enigma that haunts us to this day. The Zodiac Killer's spree began on a cold December night in 1968, when 2 teenagers were brutally murdered on a quiet road in Vallejo, California. Over the next year, he would claim more lives, each attack accompanied by cryptic letters that mocked investigators and terrified the public. But what set the Zodiac apart wasn't just his gruesome crimes, it was his taunting games. His letters, filled with coded ciphers and chilling boasts, claimed to hold the key to his identity. Yet, over 50 years later, his true name remains a mystery. On December 20, 1968, high school sweethearts David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen parked on a secluded road near Lake Herman. Their peaceful evening ended in horror when they were ambushed and shot to death. Investigators found no witnesses, no suspects, and no motive. It was a crime that would later be linked to the Zodiac Killer. This was the beginning of the Zodiac's reign of terror, one that would shock and bewilder the nation. Just 6 months later, on July 4th, 1969, the killer struck again. Darlene Ferrin and Mike Mageau were parked in Blue Rock Springs Park when a car pulled up beside them. Moments later, the driver opened. His description of the shooter, a stocky man with glasses, would later aid investigators. Shortly after the attack, the killer called the police, claiming responsibility for this crime and the Lake Herman Road murders. In August 1969, the Zodiac Killer made his presence known with 3 identical letters sent to major newspapers in San Francisco. Each letter contained a cipher, a series of symbols that he claimed would reveal his identity. One of these ciphers, known as Z408, was solved by a school teacher and his wife. It revealed a disturbing message: "I like killing people because it is so much fun." But the name of the killer was conspicuously absent, leaving the mystery unsolved. On September 27, 1969, college students Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were enjoying a quiet afternoon by Lake Berryessa when they were approached by a man in an executioner-style hood. The Zodiac symbol was emblazoned on his chest. He tied them up and stabbed them repeatedly before fleeing. Brian survived to tell his story, but Cecilia tragically died from her injuries. Before leaving, the Zodiac left his mark, carving his symbol and the date of the attack into their car, once again taunting authorities. The Zodiac's boldest act came on October 11, 1969, when he shot and killed cab driver Paul Stine in San Francisco. Unlike his previous attacks, this murder took place in a busy residential area, just blocks from a police station. Witnesses provided a detailed description of the suspect, leading to the infamous Zodiac sketch. But despite this critical lead, the killer once again vanished without a trace. In the months and years that followed, the Zodiac continued to taunt authorities. He sent over 20 letters to newspapers, often filled with bizarre threats and cryptic statements. In one chilling letter, he claimed he would attack a school bus, sparking panic across Northern California. To prove his authenticity, he even included a piece of Paul Stine's bloodied shirt. The killer's arrogance knew no bounds. The Zodiac ciphers remain one of the most infamous aspects of the case. Of the 4 major ciphers, only 2 have been solved. In 2020, the Z340 cipher was cracked, revealing another eerie message. But like the Z408 cipher, it provided no clues to his identity. The unsolved ciphers continue to captivate cryptographers and amateur sleuths, each hoping to unlock the key to the Zodiac's identity. Over the years, countless suspects have been investigated, but none definitively linked to the Zodiac. Among them, Arthur Leigh Allen. A Vallejo resident and convicted sex offender, Allen matched many aspects of the Zodiac's description. He owned a Zodiac Brad watch and was identified by survivors. However, DNA testing later failed to connect him to the letters. Ted Kaczynski. Some theorists point to the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, however, no concrete evidence supports this theory. Unknown drifters. Others believe the Zodiac was a transient figure, blending into society and disappearing as suddenly as he appeared. The Zodiac's ability to evade capture has long puzzled investigators. Factors such as limited forensic technology, jurisdictional conflicts, and the killer's calculated methods allowed him to remain a step ahead of the law. Recent advancements in DNA technology have sparked renewed hope. Forensic genealogy, which identified the Golden State Killer, could one day unmask the Zodiac. But until that breakthrough comes, the case remains one of true crime's greatest mysteries. The Zodiac Killer's shadow looms large over popular culture, inspiring books, movies, and endless speculation. But beyond the intrigue lies the tragedy of lives lost and families left without answers. Who was the Zodiac Killer? Will his identity ever be revealed, or will his story remain a haunting enigma? Let us know your theories in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories of true crime and the unexplained.